Okay, so hey guys, it's the Miss Angelica right back at you. Um, uh, so I wanted to talk to you a little bit about my ear stretching journey. Okay, so from 14G all the way up to I want to say about a 4G. If you don't know what that is, I'll put all the measurements in the description below. For those sizes, my stretching was actually really good. I mean, I actually waited a little bit. Let's just say at those times I wasn't as impatient, so I actually waited the 2 weeks that was recommended for me to let my ears heal before I decided to stretch up. And when I got to like a 4G to a 2G, let's just say that was kind of painful because even though it wasn't the biggest stretch, going from a 4G, a little thingy, to like a 2G, that's like a whole 1 millimeter jump. And let's just say it's not the best. So I actually shoved the taper through, and I know I'm not supposed to do that, and I was using acrylic, and I mean, that was just the stretch width. I would actually put in single flared steel tunnels right after that. But let's just say that wasn't fun, and I shoved it through and it really hurt. So I suggest you don't do that. Um and then from 2G to 0G, I actually tried to shove that one through too, and that was like around that time I waited 2.5, 3 weeks because I figured it was gonna be a big jump. And I had some other plugs at the time that I was wearing, I actually had a Jesus plug. Funny story about that. Anyway, so yeah, at 2G I decided to tape up, and hold on a second. So I found my tape, and it's this. I suggest you use PTFE or Teflon tape or bondage tape, but let's just say I'm 17 years old and I don't have a job, so therefore I didn't have a lot of money at the time, which you could probably find out because I used acrylic stretchers or tapers. There are two terms for those. And another thing I want to clear up real quick, it doesn't matter what you say to me, you can say gauges or whatever, but most of the time I will correct you in the nicest way possible, because a gauge is a measure of something. Like, say, a tire gauge. You wouldn't shove that inside of a tire. You get my point? The tire gauge is to measure how much air pressure you have in your tire. A gauge is used to size or measure the amount or the quantity of something. My bad. So a 2 gauge, 0 gauge, 16 gauge, they're all measurements. The correct term, well, there's a few. There are tapers, stretchers, tunnels, plugs, double flared, single flared, the usual stuff. And then there are types. Like I was talking about earlier, I used acrylic. There's acrylic which is almost like plastic, which is why I wouldn't recommend you use that, because you wouldn't put a plastic fork in your lip if you got it pierced. You wouldn't put a plastic fork in your ear. So I put a plastic tape or a plug. I mean, yes, I've used it, but that's another thing you have to look out for. Some people do have allergies to acrylic. There's another big one, and it's called silicone. These two topics are touchy because of the fact that they're nice to wear, but in healed piercings. I mean, if you're really cheap, I wouldn't suggest this, but it's sort of what I did. I would go out and buy acrylic, and I'm pretty bad, so I used it when my ears were like just stretching up, but within the next 2 days or 3 days, I would immediately take them out, because acrylic and silicone, which is something you should never wear in your ears, in a fresh piercing. In a healed piercing, it's okay, but I'd say only for like a few hours, maybe a day if you're at school or at work or something, and you like need to hide them. Like in my last video, I showed you I had a few pairs, and I would only wear them occasionally, and for like events and school and stuff, but it would only be for a couple of hours. But yeah, getting back to the topic, you shouldn't really wear acrylic or silicone in your ears that aren't like healed and stuff. They're fresh. You wouldn't want to do that because they have really tiny pores, and I know everybody says this, but they have really tiny pores, and some people, a lot of people actually, if they use even just acrylic tapers, their ears will flare up. I recommend, even though I didn't do it, I recommend steel or titanium stretchers and tunnels. They're the best quality, and if you're allergic to like stainless steel, you really want to get the titanium. Titanium is amazing. I actually had a pair before, don't know what happened to them, but they like really suited my ears, and they're like amazing to wear. You can wear them for 2-3 days straight without even having to take your plugs or tunnels out. They're just the best. I recommend steel and titanium right to the basis. Okay, so about my ear stretching journey. Okay, so same goes for 0 to 00 gauges. I also used tape because I realized I couldn't fit the taper through, and when I realized I couldn't fit the taper through, the one thing I didn't do, which I recommend immediately, is to take the tapers out and downsize, but I didn't, and now because of that, I have a blowout in both ears, and it's not the best, but if you don't downsize, that's what you're gonna have to deal with. I mean, currently I'm stretching up to 20 millimeters, I believe I said, because I really like that size, but eventually I'm gonna have to take them out anyway because the profession I want to go into, it's let's just say they don't allow any type of facial jewelry, ear jewelry, anything besides regular plain old studs in the bottom lobe piercing. Okay, so yeah, there's that. So from 00 and up, I'm still taping now. But even when you're taping, I recommend you wait hopefully like a day or two, but you always have to listen to your body. This is something everybody says too. I didn't listen, that's why I have blowouts, so please listen to me, whether you're stretching to a 2, a 4, a 6, and then a 12 millimeter, it doesn't matter. You really have to listen. Wait at least 2 or 3 weeks to stretch up, and then when you're taping, at least 1 to 2, maybe 3 days, wrap one layer of tape around the plug. If you try to wrap 2, I did this before. If you already have a blowout, or even if you don't, it will create a blowout, or it will make your blowout bigger. And that's another thing too. If you do get a blowout, and I hate to say this, but I do recommend this. If you do get a blowout, what you should do is downsize immediately, but if you don't, because you didn't realize it or something, what you need to do is let it heal. Don't play with it or anything. And then after you've had it in for a while, and maybe you get tired of the size or something, after like 2 months or something, I downsize them. And don't forget, whenever you're doing something, don't forget to lube it up with something. Or I'm sorry. Whenever you are stretching, whether it be with tape or a stretcher, maybe even just dead stretching, which is dead stretching, what it is putting a bigger piece of jewelry in your ear without using a stretcher, without taping up, without using any method of giving the lobe time, or whether you're stretching a lip, your ear, your conch, whatever you're stretching. Dead stretching is just shoving a bigger piece of jewelry through your ear, and you don't always want to do that because you never know, you could get a blowout or something, so But yeah, whether you're dead stretching or stretching up with a taper stretcher or taping up, what you want to do is lube it up. Now, let me show you a few options that I use, and I'll tell you that one of them is the best. Okay, I'll be right back. Alright, so I'm back. Okay, the first one, which I really recommend, is tea tree oil. It's backwards, but that's what it is. It's really good for healing blowouts when you're downsizing or even staying at the same size. That's another thing too, real quick. Don't forget, when your ears heal, you want to leave your plugs out for at least 5 to 10 minutes. If you can't leave them out for longer because they'll close up or something, at least leave them out. Massage them with oil and just leave them be, because they need time to breathe, whether you're wearing acrylic, silicone, or even steel. I mean, like I said, there are occasions where you leave them in for 2 or 3 days, but when you do that, you want to make sure that no matter what, even if you forget, just do it again. Forget that you didn't do it, and then just get back on pattern. You need to leave them out, because if your ears don't breathe, that's why everybody says that lobes or your conch or your lip or whatever stinks. Because some people don't clean their piercings. Also, acrylic is known, acrylic and silicone, depending on what brand you get, they are known for, they are known for making your ear smell, because the materials inside are breaking down, because once your ear and your whole body heats up, that heat is running through the plug or tunnel. So you have to be careful with that. Okay, the next one. It's a funny option, but I use it for my hair, and it works really well, even with ears. And it's the Garnier Fructis Marvelous Oil Deep Nutrition. That's really good because it has Kupach, I don't know how to pronounce that, and Brazil nut oil. Next one, my favorite, vitamin E oil. I mean, I just picked this stuff up the other day, but even though I just picked it up the other day, it works amazing wonders. I'm using this tape, and I mean, it's not the best, because like I said, I don't have the money, but it works wonders. So I seriously suggest you pick it up, whether it's the cheap brand or whatever kind, just pick it up. The last one, it's not the best, but is lotion. I mean, hey, some people use lube, like sex lube. But whatever it is that you have around that you can lube up, besides your saliva, besides your earwax, I don't know, some people do that, besides water, just use something nice. Don't clean your ears with hand sanitizer. I've seen that done. Don't clean them with peroxide. If you want to clean them, use sea salt soaks. Sea salt soaks are putting putting a tenth of the amount of water you have, mix it with sea salt. There's a recipe, you can look them up, so please don't quote me, just look it up. It actually thickens your earlobes, and if you have a blowout or like problems, whether, like I said in my last video, I got one of the acrylic plugs stuck in my ears. I used sea salt soaks for a week, left my ear and just dip it in. I left it in for about 10 minutes on each ear, and it really worked wonders. It thickens your lobes, it helps with any irritation problems you have, because even if your ear is healed, it's still an open wound, so you have to be careful with it. This is my ear stretching story, and if you have any questions, comments, concerns, any remarks at all, just let me know. Comment down in the comments, please. You're free to do that. Leave me a message. If you need help, just let me know. I'm here. And I should be making videos occasionally. I want to start making them like every day, every other day, because I'm starting to realize I need to get over my social anxiety, like I talked about in one of my previous videos. And this is one way to do it, because I'm not very good at talking in front of a camera, though I know some of you may be too. So, take care, peace out, and I'll see you in the next video. have a nice night or day, whenever you're watching this, afternoon, morning. Take care.